We would like for police and ICE to stop collaborating. Local police agencies not to be able to ask for immigration status. Immigration is a federal issue. It's an issue that's relative towards asking you for your taxes. So it would be the equivalent of someone being pulled over and asked if they had paid for their taxes. That's what federal immigration law is right now.
SB 1070 has created ongoing human tragedies. Families continue to be stopped on the road, and that leads to incarceration, that leads to separation of families, that leads to deportation.
Some of the voices from Arizona prior to today's ruling here. And I'm going to bring you, the callers, back into our conversation. Let's start off with Vince. He's calling us from New Rochelle. Vince, thanks for holding. What do you think?
Yes, hi. Just very quickly, the guest who referred to Governor Brewer as a rogue governor forgets that she brought this to the legislative body. It was deliberated and passed, as opposed to our rogue president who completely ignores Congress and governs by fiat. But the fact of the matter is, this is a big win for Governor Brewer and the free people of Arizona, and is a message to the rest of the country. Contrary to what I think some of your guests are seeing, there is basically a movement in the country towards sanity of enforcement of our law, and recognizing that the federal government has basically abrogated its responsibility, and the court justly decided the states have an equal and legitimate role in when a legitimate police stop is made.
You know, Vince, what I'll say to that is this. I think we're dancing around the margins here, and we're going to continue to have this, and the political calendar will dictate it. George W. Bush, who I don't give a lot of love to, at least he had the backbone to offer up an immigration reform package before his second term was up. Now, it should be noted, while a lot of critics from both sides had problems with it, his own party were the ones who submarined it. Until this comprehensive immigration reform, we're going to have this kind of debate back and forth, and the guidelines will be sharpened by the high court where states can go and what's the job of the federal government. But we're really just dancing around here. So while I like the word fiat too, and you used it properly, good for you, the point is, listen, we could agree to disagree, but we're never going to really get to the bottom of this until there's some political courage in Washington. And as we know, that's not always in heavy supply.
That's the message of the Supreme Court's decision politically. They're saying if the immigration system is broke, it's not, contrary to what the caller said, for the states to fix it, but it's time for Congress and the administration to get off their collective duffs and do something to fix the broken system.
And that the states can't do it, even if the federal government basically
it's not for the states to take a broken system and make it harsher and more senseless. It's time for Congress to do something.
And as long as the left keeps making it a racial issue, when it's an international issue, when it's a nationality issue, when it's an immigration issue, and stop with the I caught it during the break. Stop with all this politicking and again, personalizing and making it a race issue. It muddies the waters.
Of course it is.
But no, it's not. I don't know one conservative who's upset. I don't know one conservative who would have any less problem if we were talking about 1.2 million Swedes in this country.
But it's not.
They would have just as much a problem. Exactly. It's not.
Forget about the intent. All right, we worry too much about intent. What's the practice? At this table, the only one who might have a shot about getting a hassle if they went to Arizona is Dominic, all right? Just because everybody likes to give Dominic a hard time. No, but Dominic, none of us are getting hassled. Yeah. We can go to Tucson with $2 in our pocket and not one piece of ID, and we got nothing to worry about other than we can't pay for a room that night.
Right.
If we was different, you might.
In the 1960s, would you have wanted George Wallace dictating immigration policy?
And there's where we're going on this. You wouldn't either.
Yeah, but you know what though? But I would understand it though, and if it was 5-6 Irish guys that were getting stopped left and right, I'd be ticked off at the ones who were causing the problem.
If you were in Alabama, okay, why should there be a different rule in effect if you look like Dominic than if you go to Florida? Okay,
see,
my point is, how does a state boundary decide, you know, who gets to, how you have to walk down the street with what coverage?
Well, that's what Alito referred to today. In Alito's dissent, he was talking about, you know, can we continue to call them sovereign states?
Well, this is what's important, okay? Immigration is fundamentally not a criminal issue. If this were a criminal issue, then it would be squarely within the state's police power to regulate it on their own. Immigration is an issue that pertains to removability and deportation. Those are civil remedies that are comprehensively regulated by an all-encompassing federal scheme. It's squarely for the federal government.
What's left out of this entire debate that I feel needs to go on the record, President Obama has cracked down more on immigration than President Bush did.
There's been more deportations under Obama than the previous president.
And nobody that's Obama's base.
And right now,
that's against his base.
Right now, quite frankly, he'd like you guys to stop talking about that because he's going in the other direction now, and it's pandering time. It's pander time.
You know, we're going to talk about, in fact, why don't we, let me go real quickly, I'm sorry, to Jamie in Hempstead, who's been waiting patiently. Jamie, you're on the line. Go ahead.
Yes, how you doing?
Good, thanks. What do you think, Jamie? Did the Supreme Court get it right today?
Yeah. Yes, they did it right. They did the right thing.
All right.
Can I just say for the record that I support Dominic? He's been taken on the chin the last couple of
I'd like to see Dominic's papers.
The Supreme Court did some other stuff today, and some of the decisions, frankly, I thought really interesting. We're getting to that, and also one more poll that I at least was surprised about how people feel about the High Court, not just their decisions, but how they feel about them.